Hey, thanks for joining Sales with Suli, a mom of three who spent the last 12 summers knocking doors. Welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things women, the ups and downs of my journey, and what it takes to find success on and off the doors. Go ahead and enjoy part 2 of this episode. Being able to share your story, I kid you not, just being able to just relate to you on every aspect of wanting to prove yourself, but having to continually do it on a regular basis, you know, just because we feel like we are women. And for me, that's where my transition after 12 summers.
I know. Wow.
Literally being in one place, it's exactly the things that you're saying. You don't know any better. You don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
And for me, being able to see, before I hit 1,000 accounts last year, I felt like I was probably some of those men in this industry. My first, few years, it was just holy cow, no, I've got to be the best. I've got to do all these things, stomp on whoever you need to be able to get to the top. And it wasn't even until these last few years that just a lot of humbling things happened in my life to where it was holy heck, Suli, you need to move on beyond yourself. And, again, not wanting to down talk men, because I feel there are some of us women who are out there too. Some of us can be wolves. Yeah,
definitely.
And some of us will use the women thing to be able to find our way to the top or whatnot. And those people, and I don't want to be associated with that or those type of just people, period. But my transition and my thought process began, over a year ago, in the sense of wanting to bring to attention, hey, we need a women's program. Hey, we need to be creating a space where women are welcome. We need to be doing things where women feel like they can come and be equal, where women feel like they can be trained. After losing one of my team leaders, I think that's when my eyes started opening to the pay gap for, and maybe it's not just women. I'm sure other men out there in the industry who aren't getting paid well because they're not the ones screaming at the top of their lungs.
Of course.
But for me specifically, a Black female at one place over 12 years, come to find out however many people were getting paid better than me, however many people were getting XYZ because they were recruiting, because they were doing this.
People who are also sometimes doing less. It's just a matter of the fact that they know who's above them and they have a really personal relationship with them. So they're able to negotiate a higher pay or something like that. And
these were just all things that I just didn't talk about publicly. It was just oh, that's totally fine. I'm doing fine.
That's okay.
Yeah, my husband has a job.
Yeah.
My kids are great. We have our needs, we're investing, we're doing all these things. And it was just I felt you get what you get, type of thing. Stop asking, for more.
You don't deserve to ask.
Yeah,
take what you get,
I felt when I found out, it was pulling teeth and nail. But anyways, to finally get into the space where it was just wow, we need to be able to create a space where women are cheering each other on, regardless if they're doing pest control, internet, alarms, dish, wherever the heck, we are all going to be put in positions and predicaments where we don't have leaders who believe us. We don't have friends who are rooting for us, but we want to get to the top too. We want to be successful. And so as I thought about some of these things and being able to, bring a women's program to a place, I started seeing change. I can't deny that things were being done, whether it's little things of okay, women's t-shirts or women's polos,
that's important.
Yeah. So exhausted of all the men's shorts and all the men's polos.
My first year, we didn't have any female shirts. So I looked like I was wearing a freaking potato sack my first year down to my ankles. I'm what the heck is this?
They don't even understand the littlest things goes the longest way.
It does, yeah.
So anyways, bringing this program to light was kind of put on the table. And then after I go and hit 1,000 accounts, I come home and it's still not there. And I'm just if I want to make a difference, I have to start with me. I can't be I don't want to I felt like I didn't want to go bombard like my leaders. Like I didn't want to go be like, hey, we need funding for like XYZ. And so what did I do? I just started like on a small scale, like thankfully to like one of my regionals who was so supportive and was like, Suli, I think you need to be creating like something where you can coach women, where you can do XYZ. And it was very humbling to me because I felt like the coaching program that I created was more for me coming a little bit more humble than where I first started. I feel like you've truly started at a more humbling place for sure, Haven, in the sense that you were like open to training and open to help and open to doing those things that I feel like I wasn't. And so as I started this program, I started meeting with like different women who are in solar or alarms or internet. And I'm like, holy heck, I'm a hypocrite. Like I have never done anything else but pest control. Like how am I truly going to understand where they're coming from? And so creating this program where I'd be able to talk about like mental toughness, be able to talk about like what it's like to be a woman on a team or what it's like just being able to be out there. Like I just felt like I wanted to be everyone's like biggest cheerleader. And it was just like, holy cow, like I don't have a ton of funds to do it. Like I want to go and knock on every single door with every girl in every part of the world, but it's just like it costs time and money.
There's not enough Sulis
and
for
energy. Yeah. And it was just like, and so as I started doing these things and branching out, I felt like I secretly had to go and try things because if my company found out, it would be like frowned upon, first of all. So I go and, I go and do a blitz with a Dish, and it was just like, Dish doesn't pay so well. I'm like, anyone can do it, but it wasn't that great. And then I'm like, okay, I go and do a blitz for alarms. I definitely sucked at that. Like props to all you people out there doing alarms. Like bless your guys' hearts. I only sold a couple. And then to go and try solars, I'm talking to some of these girls who are just like, our leaders aren't working. Like, I don't even know how I can get training. And I'm like, holy heck, I know nothing about solar, but let me go give it a shot. So I go out my very first week and I basically like fall flat on my face like the first 4 days. And luckily somehow the next 3 days, I go and sell 3 accounts and I was like, holy heck, like that was a fluke. As I'm still teaching these girls and coaching these girls about mental toughness, about just being able to be on a schedule, about being able to just focus on the controllables and forget the results, they're going to come. And so this is literally me practicing what I preach is kind of how I stumbled across solar. And for me, the biggest reason why, my last company, definitely wanted to do everything in the books to keep me for sure. It's like, your worth, like when you're leaving, but like, where was it? When I was there.
While I was there, huh?
Yeah.
You could have easily kept me if you just appreciated what you had.
Yeah, like definitely for sure. Just the little things, but it was just like, it was crazy because I wanted to make it work. Like I was willing to go and get, a little bit to go and do pest control. But my focus, like as I kept on going and doing each blitz was like, I wanted freedom. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted to be able to come and go like as I please. Like I want to be able to practice what I preach on a regular basis. And if I can't go and start all over from scratch and truly start all over with some of the girls that I'm freaking coaching, like who the hell do I think I am? And so for me being a part of this transition and going, like it's been the saddest realization to see like how little friends that you truly have at a place where you had spent the last 12 years.
Right. I can only imagine your position after 12 years because I even had that experience just after 2.
Yeah. Like how many people, like talk bad about you or believe every rumor or whatnot, as opposed to like shooting you a text like, hey, Suli. Yeah. Like I heard about this. Like, are you okay? Like, hey, Suli, like XYZ. Like I heard this, but I definitely like, I've known you longer than that. Like what was up?
Yeah, like what happened? Is this true?
Yeah.
Even like how hard is it to ask? And just for some clarification. Yeah.
Exactly. Those were definitely the biggest eye openers for me. And so my worth was no longer about a dollar sign, but it was more about me validating like who I am as an individual. Like, do I want to be in a place where they want to apologize after, I'm on my way out? Do they want to, give me all the things, after all these years of feeling like I had been, discredited via pay, or the fact that I am a woman, a Black woman at that, or all the things that I felt like I was deserving of, but never wanted to ask for because I felt the guilt, because it was just like, oh, like, this is a man's world. Like, you need to be recruiting, you need to be doing like XYZ, which I get it. So to be at a position in my life where I don't need to worry about what money I'm going to make off of XYZ, but I can truly make a difference for myself, for the people that I'm serving on the doors, for the girls that I'm coaching. Like, there's no amount of money that could be given to me on the table that will put me back in a box. Like, I feel like if I ever went backwards or came from a place where I did before, where I kind of had to be censored on the things that I was saying, or the things that I was sharing, or what I could post, or basically not being able to share my content, with other companies or with other women. Like, my passion now is like the success of like you, Haven, looking at other women in other industries and seeing like some of the struggles that they've went through, and like seeing empathy. And I don't feel like, if I don't move on, if I don't like stand up and keep being an example, like, who else will?
Nobody will. It starts with you.
No, it really does. And that's why I'm like truly thankful for you, like taking the time. Like, I don't even know who's going to be listening to this, like down the road. Like, I don't even know like who you're going to touch, Haven, because of your example, because of your tenacity, because of the things that you've accomplished. But you've definitely touched me and been an example of like, how much more empathetic I want to be just to humans, period. Like, how much more I want to listen and reach out. It was even like the things that where I had even heard about you. It was like, holy cow, I have her number. Why would I believe you? I'm going to ask her myself. Mm-hmm. And to flat out just be in a position, or to be able to teach people, care about the people who are around you, care about your coworkers.
Yes,
like,
you have to.
Yeah, care about the place that you're coming from, and not to say that it's like this in every region or every team. Not. Yeah, because I definitely had great leaders. I definitely had great teammates, but definitely if the environment from the top is conducive and welcoming all the way to the bottom, and it's just standard across the board, we wouldn't have situations like you that's going to be swept under the rug.
No, but if the foundation is sand, it's like, how are you going to build a house on that?
It's true. And so to end there, for any of you people out there who feel like you're deserving of more, ask it. Like, demand it.
Yes. Let's not ask. Let's be demanding now.
It for any of you women. And I'm not talking about those of us like women who may just be, coasting, or who may just be like, content or whatever. I'm saying to those of you guys who are literally like putting in the work, for those of you women out there who are deserving, for those of you women who just need to be heard, like, reach out, like, let us know what we can do to help you. And just know that this space is for you, that we are capable of big things, and that you're truly enough here. We'll end there. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. If I've added any kind of value to your thoughts on knocking doors, please share this podcast with another female rep. Until next time, know that you are capable, you are valued, and most importantly, you are enough.